Now I'm going to run through how to complete the chain of custody test form for a saliva chain of custody test to send off to a laboratory. Some of the details I've crossed out on here, you won't need to fill those in, things like donor identification, that kind of stuff, and I'll cover those as we come to it on the form. So what we've got written here are the only details you will need to complete when conducting a chain of custody test for saliva. Donor organisation company, if it's not already printed on the form, you should write Claritest along the top there. Underneath that, business unit or cost centre, in this case it was a company called Crow Construction, and the test was done in Burnley, so you write the details of the company there. Over on the right hand side, the date of the test, the 8th of 6th 2023, and they wrote their postcode for the test centre there, or where the test was conducted there. Underneath that, date of birth of the donor, 29th of the 8th, 1985, and first and last name in the little boxes on the left hand side under donor details. All the bits that are crossed out here are to do with donor identification. That's if you don't know the person, but in most cases you'll know who the person is that you're supposed to be testing. You'll know that that person's sitting in front of you, so you don't need to identify them, you've already done that. Underneath that, you will need to say why you've done the test, and this is and the ones listed are pre-employment, for cause, post-incident, network rail, random, annual, pre-sponsorship, follow-up, scheduled, LUL, or if there's any other reason you've done a test, you'll need to write in the little box where it says other. This is a for-cause test, so I've put a tick in the box to say for cause. I then printed the donor name, David Smith, and then I got him to sign there after reading the donor consent to test statement. I prefer to read that to the donor, then they can't be any mistakes saying they haven't read it when we get to the end of the test. So I generally read it to them and ask them to sign it. I then listed any medication they say they'd taken over the last 2 weeks or last 14 days. And this person had 2 cocodamol, 7:30 AM on the 7th of the 6th. Other details we will need, the details of the POCT, which is the first line instant test that you did. You'll need to tick the box to say that you've done a first line instant test. And you'll need to tick the box to say whether it's urine or oral fluid. In this case, it's oral fluid. And you'll need details of the POCT test here. So lot number found on your initial kit packaging, expiry date. Don't worry about urine temperature only. We're not doing a urine test. We're doing saliva. You'll need to say when you conducted what time you started the initial test, and then you'll need to say when you read the result. Only other thing left here is negative or non-negative. You're only going to be completing this form if it's a non-negative. You need the laboratory to determine what's in the sample, so you'll tick non-negative. And then you'll need to tick one or more of the drugs listed here on the right-hand side. In this case, this person failed the test for COC or cocaine and cannabis, so I'll tick those 2 boxes there. If you find that they've failed the drug for something that isn't listed on here, you just simply write any other drug that you want them to test for there. Underneath that, they then have to read, sign and date the donor declaration to say that they are willing to go ahead with the test, and you'll need to read and sign the collector declaration on the right hand side. The only other thing left for them to do is initial and date the 2 anti-tamper seals at the bottom, one marked A and one marked B. And that's how to complete a chain of custody test form for a saliva test.